family, this is Tipolina. You're watching DC Diaries. If you're a new viewer and haven't subscribed to my channel, I would request you to kindly go ahead and subscribe. I post videos on pregnancy, motherhood, postpartum recovery, newborn care, breastfeeding basics, etc. All the information needed for a new mother. I recently had a baby, and that is why I'm trying to post all such interesting content to help all the new mothers out there to get the maximum benefits of my channel. Kindly subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon, and drop a comment in the video down below so I can post more such interesting content. So without further ado, let's get started on today's video. So today's video is all about breastfeeding basics, what to do if you are a breastfeeding mom, or if you're even formula feeding, how to know if your baby is getting enough milk, how to know if your breasts are making enough milk, what are the different types of problems, so on and so forth. So the first subtopic that I would cover today is how to understand if your breasts are making enough milk. That is a very common problem faced by all the breastfeeding mothers, and so I would address this in three separate steps. So the first indicator or sign that your breasts are making enough milk is the engorgement or the feeling of heavy breasts. So if your breasts are feeling engorged or heavy after every 2 to 3 hours, that is a very good indicator of the fact that your breasts are making enough milk. So what to do in that situation? If you have a breast pump, then just go out and drain your breasts. A good way to understand if your breasts are completely empty is after pumping, just notice if your breasts are still leaking. If they are, that means you still have to pump more. A good ideal duration would be 15 minutes on each breast, or maybe 15 to 20 minutes each breast to completely drain out the breasts. Or if your newborn is hungry and it's already been 2 hours past their last feed, just grab your newborn and give them a good feed to completely drain your breasts. So that is the number one indicator of the fact that your breasts are making good milk supply. Secondly is the letdown reflex. What is a letdown reflex? So letdown reflex is essentially the feeling of milk dripping from your breasts after every 2 to 3 hours. If that happens, if you experience a leakage in your breasts and your milk starts dripping when you're watching your favorite series or just watching a movie or eating, that's a good indicator that your breasts are making enough milk. What to do in that situation? Do not panic. So I have created a previous video on the different types of products that would help you, and if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch that. I would link the product info on my screen here. So a good idea would be to wear a bra, maternity bra at all times, preferably when you're not sleeping, and use the Medela nursing pads for your bra, which is kind of like diapers for your bra, if that makes sense. That kind of eliminates the milk leakage. You don't feel wet, you don't feel like a human waterfall, and that makes your life so much simpler. So that's number two. Number three is obviously if you are a breastfeeding mom and you don't experience period after the initial bleeding, the first or 1 or 2 weeks, is you will not experience any periods during the first 3 months postpartum. If you are a breastfeeding mom, that is a very good indicator of the fact that your breasts are making good milk. However, after the initial 2 weeks of the periods or the supposed periods that you would be seeing after coming from the hospital, if you start seeing or experiencing periods again within the first 3 months, that may be an indicator that your breasts are not getting enough milk. And in that case, what do you have to do? You just have to book a visit to the gynecologist, consult a lactation expert, find out how you can make the most out of breast milk supply. Now these are the three ways that indicate that your breasts are making enough milk. Now comes the second ugly part, is what to do if your breasts are not making enough milk. So a very key concept of breast milk is that the breasts will make more milk based on the demand. So if you're giving your baby formula and you want to switch to breast milk, a good idea would be to pump or nurse more round the clock. So every 2 to 3 hours, try to nurse or pump more, as the more you nurse and pump, the more your breasts will make milk. So it is kind of a supply and demand connection that the breasts have with your baby. So it gives the idea to the brain that your baby needs more milk, and they start producing more milk. So if you want to switch exclusively to breastfeeding and you want to eliminate formula completely, try to buy a hands-free pump. Medela is a very good company. Again, I have listed all those products in my previous video. If you haven't watched that already, go ahead and watch it. You can use a hands-free pump, and you can pump every 2 to 3 hours, and that way that gives the signals to the brain that you need to make more milk. In terms of milk storage, if you are thinking of storing breast milk actually has a longer lifespan than the formula that you have already opened. So freshly expressed breast milk can be kept or stored in room temperature for 6 to 8 hours, and of course if the temperature is below 23 degrees Celsius. So make sure that your room is cold, and you can store the breast milk for 6 to 8 hours. That comes incredibly handy when you want to get a night's sleep and you want to transfer the night feeding duties to dad. That way you can get some sleep. That's a good idea, right? The second storage option is if you want to store the breast milk in the fridge, then you can store your breast milk in the fridge for up to 5 days. It will stay good. Try to keep the breast milk at the back end of the fridge where it is cooler. That way your breast milk does not get thawed easily. So in the fridge it is good for 5 days. So if you want to keep it in the freezer, a good idea would be to keep it in a freezer bag and store it. It will be good for 6 to 12 months. But remember, you have to completely thaw it once you take it out from the freezer, and then you need to warm it, because of course the baby should not be given very cold milk, as it might end up giving them like a cold. So you can warm it. We use the Philips Avent warmer, and that works with the Philips Avent bottles as well. Now these are the ways that you can store the breast milk. What I do is I pump at night, so at about 10 or 11 p.m. and then that is good till like 3 or 4 at room temperature. So I don't need to freeze or I don't need to refrigerate my milk. But of course I do keep 2 bottles of breast milk in the fridge as well, in case if I'm out or if I'm sleeping more than I want to, and if I want to keep some milk just extra in case if my baby needs it. My husband can grab a bottle or 2 from the fridge as well, warm it, and is ready to feed the child. So that's about how to store the breast milk. Number 2, the topic is how to understand if your baby is getting enough milk. So the first indicator that your baby is getting enough breast milk is if your baby's urine is colorless, that is, it is not a light yellow and is colorless completely, then that means that your baby is getting enough breast milk. If your baby has 8 to 10 wet diapers a day, that means he or she is getting enough breast milk and you do not have to worry. Number 3, if they are pooping more than 4 to 5 poops a day, that means they are getting enough breast milk. However, the 4 to 5 poops a day usually only stands for the first up to the first 6 weeks, after which the poop frequency slows down to 1 or even once a day, or even once every 2 to 3 days. So don't panic if your baby does not poop once a day after the 6-week mark, because that is very common in breastfed babies. They do not poop every day. So first 6 weeks they will be pooping mustard seedy yellow poops, and after the 6-week mark they can poop once a day or once every 2 to 3 days. Now this is a little bit different in case of formula fed babies, where they do poop more frequently because formula is heavier to digest than breast milk, and that is the reason why they poop more frequently. But if you are breastfeeding your baby and your baby is pooping once every 2 to 3 days after 6 weeks, then that is fine. You do not have to worry at all. And also, if your baby is content and happy after the feedings, that is an indicator that your baby is getting enough milk. Another contraindicator if your baby is not getting enough milk is if they are trying to suck their thumb or finger after the feed, or they're crying, if they're fussy. That may mean that they did not get enough milk, and a good idea would be to feed them more, nurse more, or just give bottled milk more. The third and the most important question when it comes to newborns is how to cope with the colic in newborns. So the way to survive a colicky baby is to just follow the 3 steps that I would be mentioning here. First thing is a colicky baby is very common for the first 6 weeks of their life. So your baby will be very colicky, and they will be crying a lot, fussing a lot after a feed, before a feed, which is very normal, and you do not have to panic. Believe me, it might feel like there is no light at the end of the tunnel, but at the end of 10 to 12 weeks, the baby's gas or the colicky problem will be going down a little bit. What is colic? Colic is nothing but the gas that forms at the baby's belly and just gives a lot of discomfort and pain to the baby, and which is why the baby is having trouble feeding and also having trouble sleeping or lying asleep for a long time. So how to cope up with the colicky situation in babies? So the number one thing that we have to do as parents is when we are feeding the baby, so it's a very good idea to do paced feeding. So that means is when you're holding the baby, it's a good idea to watch the nipple. So you can either pace feed, which means you can either not fill the nipple with milk all at once. When you're feeding the baby, it's a good idea to leave a little bit space so that the baby drinks the milk at their own pace. Or number two, also simultaneously hold the baby upright while they are drinking the milk. If the baby is completely flat on their back, as they do when they sleep, and that is the time when you're feeding, it's a very good chance that they will be taking in a lot of air while feeding. So number one is hold the baby upright when you're feeding them and try to pace feed. That usually helps with newborns. Number two, burp the baby in between the feed. So when, let's say if you're feeding your baby from the bottle and you have about 100 ml of formula or breast milk to provide to your baby, try to burp your baby after the first 50 ml of milk. So burping the baby in between the feed releases the air and takes it out from the baby's belly, so that creates more room in the baby's belly for the next lot of the milk to come in. Because if the baby's belly is already full with gas or air, the baby will not be able to drink any more milk, or will be very fussy and uncomfortable, will be bending their body to no extent because their belly is already full with gas. So try to burp the baby in between the feed. So while you are feeding, don't wait until the end of the feed to burp your baby. Take a break, take a pause, keep the bottle down and burp your baby. So gently tapping the back for like a good 1 or 2 minutes, and then waiting for the baby to let out the gas is a good way. Do it for 4 to 5 minutes and then continue with the feeding once you have heard some gas come out from the mouth. If you don't hear any gas come out from the mouth, or if you feel that the baby hasn't burped, it's fine. Continue with the feed, because sometimes babies don't burp. They are either very sleepy or a lot of gas has not gone into their stomach, so that's fine as well. And number three is try to give them some exercises like bicycle exercises or massages after a feed, after 2 to 3. So wait 2.5 hours before you massage, as because if you try to immediately massage a baby after a feed, they will spit up a lot, because you have to give them and their digestive system some time to digest the milk. So a good idea would be to massage the baby. So a good exercise is the bicycle exercise. You can go to YouTube, watch any video which has burping exercises for baby bicycling. So usually holding their legs upright and then trying to do the little bicycle movements with their legs usually causes them to fart, and if they fart, that's a good sign for you. That means the air is coming out from their belly. So these are the ways in which you can kind of reduce the colic or the gas in them. And also number 4, a good idea would be to consult your pediatrician, who might recommend a colic aid like the one that we give our baby. It's kind of like a colic aid, which is very helpful. We give 5 drops of the colic relief to our baby, which is 5 drops after a feed, and you have to give it daily for until 16 weeks. But always best to consult with your pediatrician whether it is recommended for your baby or not. So at the end of 10 to 12 weeks, you would notice that your baby's colic problem has reduced a lot, and then it will be a very good thing for you. So you do not have to worry. Colic problem is very common in newborn infants, and the best way is to do all the things that I mentioned: burping the baby in between feed, consulting with a pediatrician, giving them a colic aid, and also giving them the exercises that I did mention. So this is how you can reduce the colic in babies. This is all for today's videos. I have covered a couple of things. Again, newborn care and for new mothers and infants is a very vast topic to cover. I do intend to post more such interesting content on my channel, and if you're again a new viewer and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. I will be posting more such content next week. Till then, see you. This is me, Debolina, signing off.